Today in the video, we'll review probably the best motor sled in the world. It's ready for hot tests. Meet Tofalar Tundra. Let's go! Hi there, as usual it's me, just a voiceover. You're watching Review Machines, and this is the newest winter vehicle of this season, the Motorsled Tofalar Tundra. It's huge, powerful, impressive piece of equipment, but today we want to find out if it's really so good in practice. Unfortunately, we don't have much snow now, but on the other hand, we will do the toughest possible tests in these conditions, so it's going to be an exciting day. And we are to start it right now. Our crew now is discussing the today's agenda, and we think it's even good that we don't have much snow. The matter is, it's much more stress for all the gears and components of our vehicles when the ground is not covered with thick snow. So the tests are going to be really interesting. By the way, it's almost impossible to ride snowmobiles when there is so little snow, cause their suspension and engine need snow to freeze the system. That is why the Motorsled have the advantage in this moment. Firstly, I should mention, any motorsled is a utility vehicle, and so as a rule, they look ugly. But this one is quite impressive to my mind. It looks powerful and neatly. In fact, it's really a big vehicle. Its length is 1730 mm, the width is 700, and the height is 780. There are several modifications: the motorsled with front ski module, and the towing motorsled. Now we are looking at the vehicle with ski module. Under the hood, we see 18 HP engine, 460 cc, working with CVT and gearbox. The room under the hood is neatly organized. The gearbox lever is very handy. Let me show you. The rider has the gearbox lever near at his hand, so it's very comfy to change the gears. The gearbox works properly. It's a good feature for a motorsled, I should say. The chassis is quite peculiar here. Firstly, it has an impressive track. Its width is 600 mm and the length is 33 mm. Then it has a suspension of each roller, and it's very easy to maintain the whole system. The chain drive has a solid protection. But the most interesting is the driver's seat. The seat itself is big and soft, looks comfortable. Moreover, it has its own suspension system. In this way, it's the most comfortable motorsled I've ever seen. We have the handlebar with handle and throttle heaters. There is hydraulic brake system, and there are special steps for your feet to control the steering. As a result, such a huge motorsled is quite simple at handling. It's comfy to sit, and the turning radius is not so large as we can see. Then I'd like to mention the hydraulic brake system. It works very sharply. The brakes are perfect. The efficiency of handling depends also on the sled's design. It's equipped with steel skates. That is why it's maneuver precisely. There is a smooth angle of attack, so it saves energy and fuel. Speaking about the comfort, there are sockets on the handlebar, there is an electric starter, then we see powerful headlamp, there are front and rear trunk. Then we should note, the whole construction is demountable. It's easy to detach the sleds and the handlebar. All the gears and joints look reliable. Before we go any further, let's make the first test. It's interesting to check the top speed right now. Actually, the speed is definitely not the main characteristic of any motorsled, but we'll do it anyway. This field is quite bumpy. So the speed we see is probably not the maximal, but very close to it. And we could reach in these conditions 44 km per hour. Quite a decent result for a motor sled. This vehicle can be produced in classic modification. It's shorter, its length is 1600 mm. This vehicle is made in towing mode. It has sleds with demountable seat. In general, there are no more differences with the previous model. It has the same specs. The track is also 600 mm width, but a bit shorter, 2828 mm length. The handlebar is also demountable. It's a very good feature when you need to transport this vehicle. By the way, as you can see, we are accompanied by two mini motorsleds. These vehicles are also quite peculiar, cause it's the most compact piece of equipment. The matter is, it's easy to transport it in the trunk of a crossover. Besides, there is a seat and well-considered steering system. It's equipped with 7 HP small engine, working with centrifugal clutch. And it has 380 mm width track. What's interesting, the engine is demountable. It's a very useful feature for transportation this equipment. Now let's check the top speed of the Motorsled Tundra Classic on this bumpy field. The engine is the same as on the long version, but there is not any suspension in the construction. Probably this is the reason why the top speed is lower. As we can see, we reached only 34 km per hour. Now we are moving to the main part of today's plan. It's time for the tests! Firstly, I should mention that any motorsled doesn't need much snow, as opposed to any snowmobile. The suspension of the motorsled doesn't need snow, so it's a big advantage. That is why, if you don't have much snow in winter, a motorsled might be a better variant for you than a snowmobile. And now let's check one of the most important characteristics, the towing power. We'll check the traction of Tundra in this way. Let's do tug of war. Tundra versus two mini sleds. The Tundra seems more effective, but let's try one more time. Now the rider pushed throttle neatly, and the result is on your screen. But we want to make this test even more interesting. Let's try to tow this car. We should have had a driver in the car. It was our mistake. But after all, we managed to catch up with the car. And let's try in the opposite direction, uphill. Well, I think this might be considered a success. Let's move on. To my mind, Tundra is one of the best motorsleds on the market. It's hard to invent something new for these machines. It's very capable for moving in deep snow, and it's almost as comfortable as a regular snowmobile, as opposed to many other motorsleds. This results from many solutions. Its well-considered steering system, with efficient driver position, It's a perfect weight distribution with central position of the engine. And most important, it's the ski module with its own suspension system. It's quite comfy to move even on such a bumpy field. We can see the difference now with the Motorsled without suspension. Unlike any snowmobile, a Motorsled is more capable on cross-country. First of all, it's because it's much lighter. Tundra is a big Motorsled, but we are cutting our way right through the wild forest. It has a heavy-duty frame, so it's quite a robust vehicle prepared for hot conditions. And this is a real extreme test. Don't do such things in regular life. We are doing this only for testing this vehicle. When it rolled over, some oil got onto the exhaust. That is why there is so much smoke. But it's not a problem for the Motorsled, and it gets over this hill without much problems. And I think we should pay respect to our rider. And before we discuss the prices, let's sum up our review. The new Motorsled Tundra has passed our tests without any difficulties. It has well-considered design with outstanding comfort for a rider. As to the money, I can speak about only our local prices. For example, mini Motorsled costs about $1,400, the classic version without ski module costs $2,800, and the long version with ski module costs $3,300. Well, let's go today, my friends. Thanks for having a ride with us. Please post your comments what you think about these sleds. Consider watching another our video about similar vehicles. Stay with us. There will be many more interesting materials here. Goodbye.